Hey, it's Don, the Auction Professor here. I wanted to address the most common question I get this time of year, the most common complaints, which are summer slowdown and what's going on with their sales. Now, I've said this before, and before we go any farther, I'm going to tell you straight out, it all depends on what you sell. I know a lot of people tell you that everybody has a summer slowdown. Everybody's going to be dead this time of year. That is not true. I don't care what anybody says. My sales do not back up that whatsoever. And so do many other people that I converse with and show, as well as others here on YouTube. It just depends on what you sell. Now, we don't sell clothing. I don't sell the typicals. I don't sell books. I don't sell electronics. All those stuff do die during the summer. Most people don't play video games. They're outside. They're doing sports events. They're on holidays. They're on vacation. All of those different aspects affect why those don't sell. Same thing goes for clothing. A lot of people aren't buying a lot of clothing. If you're selling winter clothes, long sleeve shirts, jeans, and things like that, you're just not going to sell as many of them. It's just a proven fact. It does this every single year. On the other hand, collectibles. Collectors collect. They're not going to stop buying something to fill in a spot in their collection because the weather changed. It has no bearing on the sales of those types of items. I can tell people this till I'm blue in my face, but they still don't buy it, that collectibles don't really die off like other things. There are some areas of collectibles that never die off at all in any way, shape, or form because they're high-end people that will always be out there to buy these good items. Now, we've done clothing and books. We started full-time doing clothing and books. We've been on eBay since they started. We didn't do clothing and books back then, but full-time, it was the easiest avenue to get in and get a bunch of stuff up and get stuff coming in. It was quick back then. With what we sell nowadays, we've kind of fallen into this. There was no attempt to do paper and do these long tail and all the kind of things we do sell. It just happened. There was no attempt to sell paper specifically in the collectibles that we sell. You know, clothing was doing fine. I didn't like it, still don't like it. We were actually done with clothing totally, 100%. I don't do clothing other than, say, jackets, leather jackets. But in general, I never liked clothing. I like what I sell these days. I like the historical aspect of it, and I like the fact that it doesn't die off in the summer. If I've got a comic book that somebody really wants, they're going to be looking for it all the time. Their collection is number one. Collectors are a whole different breed than someone just trying to buy something. It's expendable money. They don't need to spend the money on these collectibles that we have. The summer is not a factor at all. It doesn't play into people buying and collecting these. Now, like a high-end collector of a comic book, as many people would know, doesn't care when it's for sale. If it's a comic book that's key, any condition he wants, he's going to bid or buy it. It just doesn't matter the time of year. So if you're having issues like that and you don't want to switch up, there are a few things you can do to address that. Biggest one is to cross-list your items on many different platforms. You can always do Poshmark and some of the other aspects. Etsy possibly, depending on what you're selling. We sell on Amazon a lot of different things, even things that we sell across. We've actually centered in all of our efforts these days into cross-listing as much of our product as we can to other platforms, as well as getting our own site ready to roll out. So that type of advance is huge and really will increase your chances in selling your material. If you're only selling clothing and the books and those things on one specific site and it slows down, you're going to have to figure something else out if you don't want to broadcast across other platforms. Cross-listing, though, is the best, the easiest, and the most practical way to help increase your sales, because you don't have to have more items. You can just broadcast the same items across the net. It will help with exposure, if nothing else, for your items. So again, take that into consideration. But again, it all comes down to what you sell. That's the key factor in whether you're going to be slow for summer, whether you're just going to be a little bit slow, or whether you're going to be dead and dropped off by what you're selling. Again, clothing right now is not a big seller at all. Video games, not a big seller. Books, not a huge seller. Amazon, they still do because they sell internationally. Again, that's a different platform. If you don't sell on Amazon, you know, you're missing out a lot either way, no matter what you sell. You know, even collectibles and antiques can sell on Amazon. If you've got enough of them up, you'll see a decent return and income coming in from Amazon. So, again, if you can't diversify, you don't want to diversify, you have no reason to complain for summer sales. There's just no reason to it because there's always something that sells. A good hot item that still sells even in the summer are Christmas lights, believe it or not. Plain, clear Christmas lights. We do those RA all the time. If I can buy them in huge bulk or a pallet of them, I will do that all year round because people put them on their decks in the summer. They use them for the holidays. They take them all over. They put them on their RVs when they go camping. They hang them out there. Kids put them in their rooms, just teenagers and things along that line. They're well sought after any time of the year. There's just certain items that you're never going to worry about, and you're always going to have a steady residual income coming in from these items. But if you don't branch off, you don't look into other avenues and other streams, you're just not going to be able to get past the summer. This is when most people fail. For us, last month was my busiest month ever selling online. It's the most money we've ever made in our life for any time frame was last month. We just sold an insane amount of stuff, days into the thousands. It was just a massive amount of stuff. This month's the same thing, as I said. So it depends on what you sell and what you do with your business. If you're small, a one-person operation, you don't want to expand or advance, or you don't have the abilities, you're going to be stumped at a certain level for your business. It's hard to break past a certain level without help or expanding or cross-listing or something like that. Diversifying is always helpful for most every business there is. So, those are all key things you can do. But the number one thing, as I keep saying, is cross-listing, diversifying, spreading your stuff out. Don't just stick to the categories when you're slow. Like if you're doing clothing and that's all you're doing, it's great money for some times of the year, but during summer, you're just going to have to figure something else out. There's just no other way around it. If you're not making the money, you're going to have to put in more time, more hours to get more stuff up, source better items. There's only so many things you can do if you're not going to cross-list or you're not going to diversify. Those are the keys that helped us break it. Also, as I said, hiring somebody, getting some help to get more items up if that's part of your key point. We hit a point where, I needed help listing, and then it was just list. And then things started to go well, and then things got better when we were able to find better sourcing where we could mass buy things, bulk purchases. And then our bottleneck turned into we couldn't list enough again. We had to bring people in to help list. Because in the past, the issue was not sourcing. We couldn't source enough. Now the issue's not being able to list enough quick enough. And that's where a lot of our labor goes to, is listing items constantly. So it depends on where you want to go with this. There's nothing wrong if you're fine with, being slow in the summer and you take the time and do something else. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being part-time eBay whatsoever either. The vast majority of our income comes from reselling stuff online. That's where most all of our income comes from. This is what we do. We've diversified. We've done everything we could. We followed the playbook for Business 101, and it's all helped. It's all increased my business. Steady, piece by piece, by step, we keep increasing the business. Whatever it takes. Long hours, massive amounts of bulk purchases to get the cost down, employees to help list. It all plays into parts. We're running fine. I've got employees coming in even more now. I'm spending more on labor on top of it because the kids that work for us are out of school now. So I've got more actual labor this time of year. We're pushing towards the end of third quarter to have everything we can possibly get up, as much stuff. The first and second week, obviously, in third quarter is usually the best time to start and have everything up and ready to go because we start ramping up at that point. We don't drop off, but we do have an increase for winter, for obviously gifts and things like that. We do other things during winter months. I do more RA, we do more wholesale, we do Christmas items for wholesale. So, I ramp up. We do more sales. We do ramp up for the holidays, and we do sell a ton more for the holidays. But again, it's not collectibles that I'm talking about. When we sell more during the holidays, we're doing wholesale and RA and things along that line. I do many avenues of income. I do retail arbitrage, and I do wholesale. Those are key areas of our business. I may not go into details all on them because every area like that's limited to how many people can do it where you can still make money. So I don't share a lot of stuff. So again, there's a ton of ways to make money. Don't lock yourself into one way if you're not making it. Don't lock yourself into one way if you're dead in the summer and you don't know if you'll be able to pay your bills. Expand it, branch out, and diversify. The good thing, though, is that if you put in the time, the effort, and the research into finding the best areas and expanding it, you are going to make it. You are going to have your income rise and increase, and you will make it through this and learn how to keep it going. So anyway, that's what I have for you today. Hopefully that gave you some thoughts and some ideas. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell a friend.